lend a helping hand. The financial programs we design with our business partners focus on creating a safety net for devoted employees. We believe secure and happy employees are essential to a successful business.
Nandito ako nung nagpa-practice mag-bike ang anak ko.
Nandito ako nung nag-birthday si Mommy.
Dito ako nag-celebrate ng wedding anniversary namin.
Distance will always be a problem. So choose a home that makes life more fulfilling by bringing you closer to everything that matters the most. Arezzo Place Pasig. Live fulfilled.
Finma Properties, making room to build your future.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Anwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasine, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasine.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair strong and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all.
Sana oil.
More ways to extend a helping hand. The financial programs we design with our business partners focus on creating a safety net for devoted employees. We believe secure and happy employees are essential to a successful business.
Nandito ako nung nagpa-practice mag-bike ang anak ko.
Nandito ako nung nag-birthday si Mommy.
Dito ako nag-celebrate ng wedding anniversary namin.
Distance will always be a problem. So choose a home that makes life more fulfilling by bringing you closer to everything that matters the most. Arezzo Place Pasig. Live fulfilled.
Finma Properties, making room to build your future.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian and Wada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasy.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair strong and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all!
Zero oil.
Give employers more ways to extend a helping hand. The financial programs we design with our business partners focus on creating a safety net for devoted employees. We believe secure and happy employees are essential to a successful business.
Okay, we are live. A pleasant afternoon to each and every one of you. Welcome to another live webinar series for a cause powered by Ariva Academy. So our topic for this afternoon is streamlined employee engagement in the time of crisis. And this is a part series of our HR Virtual Summit PH Bounce Back HR. My name is Irish Malanda Samson, and I would like to introduce to you our moderator, the dashing debonair, Mr. Howell Mabalot. Hi, sir.
Thank you so much. Forever gorgeous, Miss Irish Malonda Samson.
Thank you, Sir Howell. So, please join me in welcoming our participants from overseas, Sir Howell.
Sure.
And they are watching from Vapi, India, Tokyo, Japan, Kyoto, Japan, Petaling Jaya, Malaysia. Welcome to our webinar. Kota Kinabalu, Malaysia, Lalitpur, Nepal, Doha, Qatar, Singapore, Dubai, and Nebraska, United States. Welcome to our e-learning session. And in order for us to have a smooth flow of our e-learning session, here are the house rules. Please let me know who are the first-time viewers of our webinar. Type in hi in the chat box now and let us know where are you watching right now. So let's check. Hi, Ms. Yvette. Ms. Sharon Oliveros. Good afternoon, ma'am. Marites Robles. Michelle Liwag. Irene Apostol from Batangas. Good afternoon, ma'am. Let's check as well in the FB Live. Hello to Riza Jane Grafal. Jojo Terencio. Good afternoon, sir. Rose Ordonez Ms. Lang. Anne Raquel Mayoyo. Nelia Valderrama. Kat Rosales, Robea, Orlina Ursula Regua, and Mero Hermosilia. Good afternoon. Okay, and Melanie Kedeng is watching from Valenzuela City. Good afternoon. Okay, so let's do a sound check. You will be needing a good quality headset. Please use the following codes. Type in 111 to show if you can hear us. We are loud and clear and audible. Okay, Jojo, Sir Michelle, Andy, 111, thank you. Carol, Rose Ariane, okay. Melanie, Maria Racel, 111, thank you. 222 means you cannot hear us. 2121 means the sound is breaking up or there's a log. And question mark if you don't understand anything. So far, 111, thank you. So we will be having a 2 to 3 minute break after the presentation of our guest speaker and before we move on to our question and answer portion. Participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by the administrator during discussion to avoid interruptions. Questions will be entertained after each topic of the session. For questions and clarifications during the provided time after each topic, please click the raise hand button for the administrator to enable the microphone for live questions. Yes, later at the question and answer portion, we will entertain live questions from our Zoom participants. Type in your questions at the Q&A box. Again, at the Q&A box, not in the chat box. For our FB Live viewers, please type in your questions at the comment box. One question at a time will be entertained. And for comments and feedback, please scan this QR code. This will be directed to our feedback form. Please send us your comments, suggestions, topics to discuss in order for us to improve our future e-learning sessions. And now, to discuss streamlined employee engagement in the time of crisis. Mr. Howell Mabalot, please introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Miss Irish, for the privilege of introducing our speaker for today. She has over 16 years of professional experience as a human resources leader with a global exposure. Currently, she is the Talent Management Director for APAC and MEA, HRBP Director, Marketing and Design of Electrolux, and she's also a leadership and executive coach, mentor for HR leaders, and a successful keynote speaker. Everyone, to discuss streamlined employee engagement in the time of crisis, let's all welcome Ms. Mila Pascual-Nodusso. Welcome, Ma'am Mila. Hello?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes,
Okay, what
Howell,
about
thank you very much for that very nice introduction. It's good to see all of you today.
nice to see you for the first time, ma'am.
Yes, I hope next time we can see each other personally. Yeah.
I hope so too. Are you
Yes.
broadcasting from Thailand, Ma'am Mila?
Yes, I'm currently broadcasting from Bangkok, Thailand.
Wow, that's my favorite place. I've been to Bangkok 3 times, and the people, the food, the exotic fruits, and the culture. I love everything about Thailand.
Yes, please do come to Thailand when all of this is over, and do let me know when you're here. I'll host you here in Thailand.
Wow, we're looking forward to that.
All right, so thank you very much for your wonderful introduction, Howell. I think there's one key aspect that you're forgetting in your introduction, because I know that a lot of the speakers of Ariva are also foreigners. I'm very much Filipino.
Wow.
So,
Mabuhay, kabayan.
Mabuhay, kabayan. Yes.
But
So,
I know some Thai language.
You probably know more than me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me also, of course, I know kabun ka. Yeah, and sawadika.
Sawadika.
Yeah, and they always confuse me for Thai anyway, so I really have to learn the language.
And that's the beauty of us Asians, especially Thai and Indonesians and Malaysians and Filipino. We all look alike. We're all beautifully gifted with the complexion and the candor and the ability to relate socially.
Definitely. Yes.
And we're excited now, ma'am.
I'm very much excited to share to the team. And I knew that we have participants, of course, from the Philippines. A lot of them are there. And then we have participants from India, Japan.
Yes.
There's folks from Middle East and Africa. And then also there are folks from the US, Malaysia, and Singapore, if I catch that correctly.
Yes.
Welcome to all of you. And thank you for joining us today. All right.
So now you may want to take the center stage now, ma'am.
Definitely, I'll do that, and then just flag me whenever there are questions, and I believe we have time for questions as well.
Yes.
And I'm just not sure if everyone here speaks Filipino, so I'll still deliver it in English. But then the examples and then the questions and answer later, we can definitely discuss those in Filipino. Yeah?
Sure. That would be great.
All right. So the focus of our discussion today is for us to focus on employee engagement initiatives that is applicable during the time of crisis, because employee engagement is still very important. We have to do it together with talent management. It's just that we have to make sure that it's focused and targeted, because at this point right now we can't do everything. Yeah, especially right now in the Philippines, you guys are on enhanced community I forgot.
Quarantine.
Yeah, quarantine, ECQ. Because, in other countries, like here in Thailand, we are on state emergency. That's how they call it.
Oh.
And then other countries are on lockdown. So beyond all of this, while we are all working from home, we in HR are still doing a lot for our employees. Actually, this time, HR is busier than ever trying to engage those people who are working remotely. All right, so let me move on. So Howell already introduced me to you guys. Here I will just mention to you, I would love to see all of you on LinkedIn. So please connect with me on LinkedIn if you have questions or if you have anything about HR and leadership. Feel free to message me on LinkedIn. It's just that sometimes it takes a day or two for me to respond, but I do respond on LinkedIn for queries. Yeah. So what we will be talking about today, of course, is a very streamlined approach to employee engagement, because we are in a pandemic and we all know that this situation will will be there, I think, even until next year. Yeah. So we really have to focus our energies on very specific actions that we want to take for our employees. We have to understand what really matters. We're going back to basics here, and then I'd like to share with you the 4 key drivers of employee engagement. We call it LEAD. And these 4 key drivers, actually, you can use it even outside of the crisis period or pandemic period. However, it's a very good guide for us right now to be to align to this lead drivers of engagement, so that we are focused on the programs that we are doing for our employees. And then I'll share with you some examples that we are doing at Electrolux, and then also some examples that other colleagues in the HR world are doing for their companies right now. Yeah. So, and then we have the Q&A. And then if at any point you have questions or clarifications, just post them on chat, and the team will help me and flag me if we need to respond to that already. Yeah. So let's just take a look at this survey that was conducted by Willis Towers and Watson. So if you will see here, it's really focusing on the employee experience, which most definitely employee engagement is a part of. Yeah, it's very important for us to understand what experience is our employee going through right now, and how do we address that as an organization. So it says here that 95% of senior leaders say that they have demonstrated sincere interest in employee and well-being. 76% of employees say that collaboration in their overall organization has improved. Actually, I would say that this is also very transparent and very evident at Electrolux, because we are more collaborative during this time of pandemic than during the time before, because I see most of my colleagues globally this time more than before. The survey also says that 89% measure to ensure that people feel supported. So probably a lot are doing surveys to understand where their employees and what support their employees are needing. 59% think working from home policies are likely to remain even after COVID. And this is true. A lot of organizations are really talking about the work from home alternative of policy, if we can do it even beyond COVID. To some, of course, it's going to happen. To some, because of some limitations, it will not. So it really depends per organization, and also the infrastructure that is available if remote work or working from home is possible. 68% say that their employees report experiencing higher anxiety than normal. I think this is evident. I'm quite surprised that the numbers are lower. I was expecting this is way higher. Because the anxiety that we are feeling right now is not just because of work. The anxiety is because of this pandemic, that we're so afraid to even go out because we might get sick, and we knew that there's a possibility that you can contract complications. So yes, and then 31% have surveyed their employees in response to COVID. So just type in chat if your company have conducted survey in response to COVID right now, maybe in May or in April. To share with you, in Electrolux, we did a employee survey in response to COVID to all our employees to understand what they need during this period, and also to understand what are the things that we need to address, we need to work on, or we need to improve on. It's very important. The results are very good. We were thinking that our employees are actually going to be unhappy, but a lot of them are very supportive of the initiatives or the cost-saving measures that we are doing as an organization. Of course, there are some pockets wherein they're not happy, and collectively they are on certain things that we are doing as an organization. And those are the things that we in the HR and the leadership team will be looking at. We also wanted to know if the communications that we are doing in terms of responding to the situation is transparent enough for them, timely enough for them, and relevant. So those are the things that are part of our survey, and then also, of course, what help they or what support they need from the management at this point. So I've seen in the chat that some of you have said that yes, your organization have conducted the survey. Some said that not yet. If you're in HR and you haven't conducted it, I highly encourage you to do that. We did it for overall APAC and MIA, and it's actually very good. The response, not just the response rate that we received is quite high. Of course, there are low points there, but the comments that we are getting from employees are really what I say to our leadership team is they're like a gold minefield. Like they're really something that we can act on. We know where we are. And then at the same time, we know where they are in terms of engaging. And surprisingly, it's very high. The result in terms of they would like to stay within the company and they are proud to work for Electrolux. The result for this is very high for us. It's 89%, considering that we have some cost-saving measures that we have implemented as well. That was a confirmation that we are doing things right. Yeah, and the comments that they are saying are really something that is very important for us as an organization. Yeah, so below here, I'll just share to you guys, based on these results from Willis Towers and Watson, there was a discussion as well among HR. What are the things? This is actually a discussion that I participated in a webinar with DDI together with Josh Bursin, wherein there was an analysis on what leaders are going through right now, what organizations are going through, and what are the things that we are doing to adjust. So in terms of business, there's a lot of realignment happening in terms of the business model. Yeah, I think especially for the travel industry, the travel and tourism industry, they really have to rethink the way they do business once this COVID situation is over. And then they have to, most companies has to review the financial plans and the growth trajectory, because in the past few years, even for us here in Southeast Asia and even in the Philippines, the growth is on a steady increase. But then because of this pandemic, the growth of the economy have stalled, and definitely the growth of each corporations have stalled as well. So you have to re-review how you would address that and how then you would focus your business. Leaders respond and act in a very agile way, and actually leaders are acting right now in territories that that most of them have not handled before. And then for the employees part, it's very evident that we really all have to learn immediately a new ways of working. Actually, what we're saying is that this COVID situation pushed organizations to transform with a blink of an eye, because if you're just tinkering about transformation before, suddenly everyone has to work from home already, or to be sent home. So both the organization and the employee has to adjust in that. And then we have to revisit the safety practices that will have to stay in the long run for us, because as I've said earlier, this virus will be staying with us for quite some time. I'm not scaring you, but I think we all know that it's not going away anytime soon. And then we have to connect to each other in a way that is very different from the way we connect to each other before. The engagement this time is on a different level that we all have to adjust. Even if before I've been working from home from time to time as well, working from home full time is very different. It's like before, because before you have option to go to the office or maybe to even go elsewhere. But now you really just have to stay home, so it's very different. It's very restrictive as well, and managers being able to connect with their employees are also a big adjustment to some of them, because some of them it's not common to work from home and then have a call for coaching or feedback sessions. To be honest with you, some of our managers in Electrolux are still very traditional. Wherein they're having issues. We have to coach them. We have to mentor them on how to really connect with their employees in a virtual way. Because for some of them, they feel that the face-to-face and personal connection is what really just works. But now with this situation, it just prevents them from doing that. Yeah. And in this situation as well, employees have to learn how to be resilient, because it's not just them dealing with this situation. Each and everyone in the organization, from management down to the lowest level rank in our organization, are dealing with this situation. So it's two ways, wherein, of course, the company through HR and the management helps the employee cope with it. But at the same time, as an employee, as an individual as well, we have to learn how to cope with this, find how we find our way in this situation. And then for HR, it's very similar to the business. For me as a talent management director, one of the things that I really find that stressed us so much, my team, is how we evaluate our talent programs. All our learning and development programs are geared towards face-to-face. So for a month and a half, or almost 2 months, everything stopped. It's like learning stopped. But we said, hey, learning just cannot stop. So I think even Ariva, they designed this webinars so that we continue learning in this situation. We have to do that. We have to convert all our programs virtually, and we have to find ways that it should be engaging, and it still is a learning journey or a learning experience for our employees. And there's a lot of work together with IT and facilities, because of course there are those employees that suddenly they have to work from home, and then they were not able to set up their infrastructure very well. So we have to address that so that we can deliver the programs to them as well. So we base a lot on analytics these days, in analyzing where pockets of the organization we need to address more, because to be honest, there are countries that needs more attention than others. Yeah. Let's say, for example, in more mature markets, they have things in place already on addressing, let's say, the health and safety and then security. But then we have those markets wherein we're just starting with them and they're very new. We really have to handhold them. And then we have to, this time, we have to empower and train HR itself. We have to focus on HR, because most of the time we look outside of HR, but we have to make a conscious effort to look at HR. These are very tired people. These are people that are talking to those employees who are stressed, but these HR folks are also facing stress themselves. So how do we address them? What are the programs that we are making or that are available for them. It's very important. You don't want these people just suddenly not going to work because they just can't take it anymore. These are people that are hearing out the issues of employees, hearing out emotional problems, psychological problems on top of the business problems. Yeah, so you really have to train them to be very resilient and to take care of HR. Okay, so are you still there? Just flag me on chat. I hope you guys are still with me. Yeah. Just a moment. I'm having some technical difficulties here by myself. All right. So this is another thing. If you're working from home, right? You can just call someone in your team that, hey, I cannot move this slide. Okay, now it's moving. Okay. So let's go back to basics here, guys. So I hope also that you're really with me here. It's the first time also that I'm doing a webinar that I'm not seeing people. Most of the time I see them, so I really hope I'll see you guys very soon. Although it's probably like in more months, like what I'm saying to Howell earlier. So what really matters to our employees? So as an organization, previously pre-COVID, let's call it pre-COVID, we have to address all of this. Yeah. Now we have to be very selective. From the bottom portion, physical safety, love, and belonging, these are the ones that you focus for everyone. Okay. Accomplishment and esteem, as well as self-actualization, this you have to be picky. Yeah, because right now everyone needs this first three. Okay, in terms of do I have security of tenure? Will tomorrow, when the company decides to streamline or reorg, do I have a job? Or my salary, will it still be there? Right now my job is not very secure. If, will you cut my salary, or will you ask me to go for unpaid leave? Will you cut my benefits? And then also it affects their well-being. Safety is in terms of course, flexibility options. So let's say right now we have parents wherein the kids are stuck with them at home. I thought it would be easy. I have a 2-year-old. I thought it would be okay. The first few weeks of COVID, when I was sent home, my nanny got stuck in Malaysia because of some visa issues. And then I thought 2-year-old is nothing to handle. I thought it was easy. But 3 days with her and working from home, and my husband working from home at that time also, I'm like, oh my God, this 2-year-old is driving me nuts. And then I realized what more those more than one kid, and then what more those with older kids probably. Yeah. So here flexibility for us as an organization is very important. We have to recognize that our employees are stressed in levels that are not imaginable to anyone. So for those with parents, like for us, we gave them an option of additional leaves of childcare. In certain countries, that's available already. In some countries, it is not. So they can take additional leave to care for their child, especially for those without nannies. Okay, belongingness is we address this by communication, because right now we really don't have any option. We cannot have them go to work, go to office, because it's just not possible. But then how can you make them feel that they are part of a community, that they're part of an organization, that they're part of your team while still working from home? So there's still a lot of things there that you can do, aside from just having everyone call and just be in these meetings that you have. And then, as I'm saying, the accomplishment and esteem and self-actualization, it's still very important. You have critical roles that you have that you'd like to keep, and you know that these critical roles that you have, whether COVID will stay or COVID will be over soon. These are roles that are pivotal to the business of or to your organization. So you still have programs that should be handling this part here, and maybe not for all for now, but for your critical talent or those people in those critical positions. Yeah. So then let's go to the 4 key drivers of employee engagement. So we call them LEAD, leadership, enablement, alignment, and development. And this is just not applicable during this time. This is also a very good guide for you with creating your engagement programs, even post-COVID. Yeah, it's just that we are focusing on this for right now, and I'm introducing this to you. Maybe some of you know it already. This is a very good guide for us to be able to focus on where we want to go, and then also tie it to this one. Okay, so this two goes hand in hand. So let's take a look at leadership. Why do we need to focus on leadership? Because our employees want to have confidence in their leaders, and they want to be inspired and engaged by them. Yeah. So remember our mantra always in talent management. When we develop leaders, we want leaders who inspire others, people who make themselves feel confident that they can do the job or they can conquer the world even, and leaders who engage others or are very good collaborators. Yeah. So our programs revolve around this, and in this part here, we ask or we enjoin our leadership team to be models for this. So also employees want their leaders to recognize the importance of people in the journey. So as we go through this COVID situation, it is very important for our leaders to be mindful that whatever journey your company is going to go into after COVID, the employees must be with you on that. You're on time in terms of communications. You are transparently showing them what's happening, what are the actions. They are aware of that. So whatever destination you get into, they are there with you. Nakasakay sila sa bus mo while you are going to whichever destination you're going to. So I injected here already the engagement activities. So sabi nga natin, streamlined. So I'll give you one or two that had been happening in several companies that I know and also in our organization. So one is a very informal small group session with the leaders virtually. Yeah. So what happens in our organization right now is we have this coffee sessions with leaders, wherein it's a two-way communication, meaning it's a way for the leader to communicate to people. So we also limit it to maximum of 50 people per session, so which means that several leaders are doing this session in parallel. In these sessions, they are sharing the wins, the challenges, and the developments of our organization as we go through this pandemic right now. And then the remaining part of the session is a very open session wherein employees can ask anything. Of course, when you tell them to ask anything, you have to be prepared as well. So most of the time, the questions, of course, because they're worried, question is around where our organization is going. When do you think this will end? We get asked that question. And then, is there something you do to stop COVID? The honest answer was no. But we got asked that question, definitely. But you see that it's very dynamic. And then, of course, your leader will also receive questions such as one question that that is favorite by our employees to the different leaders is that what's your favorite Netflix series right now? Okay, so then they share, and then apparently they watch because it's being watched by the leaders, so they're curious why. So also that's where I started watching Kingdom. Because one of the leaders said he's watching Kingdom. And then they ask also about the leader. So it's also a very good way for them to get to know the leader that we have in the organization. So in these venues, there's the formal, and then you make it more informal in the end there, and then you really give the opportunity to the employees and the venue for them to raise questions, or some of them even don't even ask questions. They tell us how they feel about the situation, and then they tell us how they are in this pandemic, and then also how they feel towards the actions that we are doing, if we're doing something right or if we're doing something wrong in their perspective. Yeah, so this is something that I see is what we can do, and it's a lot in terms of engaging people. But the important part there is the part wherein you give the bigger chunk of the venue for them. Yeah. And being HR sometimes, so when we introduce this program, I really have to emphasize that beyond those 10 to 15 minutes wherein we will share where we are in the organization, I have to really tell the leaders and other HR that no other activity that is driven by us, because the other part, or the 45 minutes remaining, is for the employee. They will decide the direction of that 45 minutes. Yeah, so, and which is very good because employees really feel that we are hearing them out, and we are giving the opportunity for them to speak up. Okay. This is also an opportunity for you to bring out the company purpose or values back to life. Yeah, some people may not be very busy during this time, but bringing us all back to the roots of our organization, to our values during this period, is also very important. And actually, I would say not just important, it is I'm trying, since this morning when I was looking at this slide, I'm trying to put my finger on the right word. But I really can't. I'm trying even in Tagalog, so help me out. But it's more like you feel a sense of belonging. When we were starting to do the presentations and the programs for this, revisiting our purpose and our values make me a little bit of an emotional, and it reminds me why I joined this company, and it's really very poignant for us. And my team said the same, that, while going through this, while we were preparing this for the employees, I myself, I'm going through it, and it's very personal for me. I remember why I joined the company. I remember why this is a great company, and I remember why we create those products. Yeah, because sometimes dahil maraming nangyayari, medyo naiinis ka or something, but then rereading and going through your values and purpose brings you back home. And then also this is driven by not just our leadership team, but also this is driven by those employees who are really advocating our company. So this is a very good venue for us to remind ourselves why we are here, and then why we are why we are doing this as an organization. And then also it brings back to the discussion wherein like for example, one of our purpose as an organization is to act sustainably, wherein our products are designed in ways that they would be helpful for the environment, and also they would make your products last, or your clothes last. Yeah. But how do we do it, or how do we translate it into talent or into our people? The way we translate it into our people is that when you act, when you do your job with passion, and you do your job in a way that you inspire others to be better, or you do your job in a way that life, or the job for others become easier. Yeah, you don't make life for others complicated. Okay, so that's how we are doing it in a talent perspective. Now that we are in this crisis situation, how do we act sustainably? We act sustainably in this remote work environment, wherein we find ways to make it easier for you to ask questions. We find ways for you to be inspired sitting there in your home, to still be innovative, and at the same time to still contribute and continue growing in our organization. So you bring it back to the roots of your organization, and then you tie it to the situation. Employees become more engaged, and feel that this is the company that I would like to belong to, even after this crisis is over. Yeah, so and then we ask our leaders to talk about their experiences wherein they are acting sustainably, or they had experience that someone in their career at Electrolux created a better experience for them, so that they can grow, or that life will be easier for them. Yeah, so there's a question in chat. I'll just ask, Irish, do we reserve that question? Or can I go ahead and answer questions as we go along?
Allotted a time for the Q&A, ma'am. So after
we have a time for Q&A.
yes,
Yeah.
so
Okay,
we don't
then.
want to interrupt your beautiful presentation.
Okay, sige. Although it's also okay for me to be interrupted, because I really like to be engaging at the same time. So while I'm talking, I'm also reading the chats. So yeah, let me just I'll go off topic for offline for you. I mean, not offline literally. I'll go off from what you're recommending, Howell, kasi medyo rebel ako minsan. I'm sorry for that.
No problem, no problem.
So let me just read this. How about team building, outing? Any suggestion? Nako girl, papaluin kita. Okay, so wag muna ngayon ng team building and outing. How to do it now? I'm sorry, we really can't. This is something that I think employees would understand, because the emphasis right now is in the health and safety, and even going back to work is a worry. Yeah, so I think for us in HR, if we start talking about team building and outing, it would even be construed as insensitive by some, because correct me if I'm wrong there, Howell, yeah, and Irish as well. But in the survey that we released to our employees, several of the comments that we have received is that employees are worried on when we ask them to go back to work already, like how safe it is, their journey from home to work and work to home. So yung mga team building activities, let's park it for later, because to be honest with you, Irene, we are not looking at that right now. Anniversaries, we are trying to do it in a way that is virtual. So like in Electrolux, we call this fika. Fika is like a coffee session wherein you celebrate success, you give updates to each other, and we actually have like wine toasts on certain Fridays wherein we cap off a day and you have a glass of wine with you, or kung hindi ka nagdi-drink ng wine, just get whatever glass that you can chink with the others. Yeah.
If I may, Ma'am Mila, we call
Yes,
it
please go ahead.
Newman or
E.
electronic Newman. One of our
I like
speakers
that.
did that. That's what they're
Okay.
doing. It's a BPO company.
Yeah.
So since they miss their drinking sessions, they
Mhm.
facilitate electronic inuman. So inuman.
Yes,
So
we have that also. We
that's a
have
good thing.
inumans. It's just that they won't understand if I say inuman, because I'm the only Filipino in my team.
Yeah, so it's social drinking online.
Yeah, social drinking online, and literally they're drinking. So
And they are.
yeah, and we're really drinking. Like you really have a glass of wine, and it works. I mean, like I still feel that we're together in it.
Yes.
There's a question here. How should we handle employee concerns on employee provided financial assistance when the company is not doing good as it is? This is tricky because this is employee assistance, and your HR might hit me for this. But I think this is a case by case basis. Because we also have to understand right now the affordability of the company. Kung wala na nga siya before COVID, and your company is having financial difficulties as well right now, maybe hindi siya ma-address today.
Yeah.
Maybe it can be addressed once everyone is out of the blue already. But a very straightforward answer to you is kung hindi siya na-address pre-COVID, and you see that your company is also having difficulties right now, they're probably having financial issues as well, or financial constraints. This might not be addressed during this period. That's a very straightforward answer to that. Although I don't know kung anong situation ng company mo. Okay, so I'll go back to the slide. I know there's some questions in the Q&A as well. Mamaya na yon, we'll go back to that. All right, so let's go to enablement. Enabled employees feel like they have the right resources and tools to get the job done. One of the questions in our survey asked the employees, do you have the right tools to be able to do the job right now? And the result of this survey, kasi star siya, parang medyo fun din, is 1 to 5 stars. If you're familiar with Lazada, diba pagka-shopping mo, i-rate mo yung yung product. So ganun yung ginawa namin. Kasi of course, we're a sales company, so we're very familiar with net promoter scores or ratings like that. So we did that in our survey as well. So on that question, we got the 4.5 stars. So
wow.
Yes. So they feel that they have the right resources that is available for them to be able to do their job in the time of this crisis. The only thing that they're really unhappy about or complaining about is, of course, everyone suddenly became remote. And then, of course, yung si IT then is the bulk of work of IT suddenly was there. And then not everyone has VPN before because not everyone is working from home. So then suddenly everyone has to be provided VPN, and then you have to set it up. And then some people are not really very techy. And then they have to do it themselves in their home. So that's the frustration there. But we learned a lot from that. So now we have a playbook. We're preparing a playbook of what to do if in case this happens again in the future. Yeah. All right. In terms of enablement as well, employees want to feel confident that the resources are being directed at the right places. Remember, I told you that our organization also did some cost-saving measures already. But I also told you that in the survey, our employees showed that they understood those kind of cost-saving measures. They were really, the response was really overwhelmingly good. That our employees, they may not be happy about it, but they understood why it is being done. Okay, because there's transparency that we are doing this because we cannot afford to do it right now. Yeah, and we are doing this so that we can continue doing these other things that are more important for you as an employee. Yeah, so I think the communication there is very important. If you're taking away something from them, you have to show them why you're doing that, and then where are the resources for that being put into. Okay, because if you do that, they might not be happy about it, but they would understand. And a lot of our employees also are saying that they are supportive of that in the survey. And that they understand that the company is trying to make sure that everyone has a job. Okay, that's why we're doing that. And this came from them, because none in our communication were we saying or we said that we were trying to keep jobs. So this actually came from the survey, wherein employees think that that's the reason why we are doing that. All right, so in the enablement-focused employee engagement transparency report, or a transparency communication venue is very important. So in this transparency company earnings, there's a smiley here there that I put that napapasmile din ako. The report is focused on company earnings and spending. And it was so funny when we were doing like small group communications on this one. They were saying na ganun daw pala kalaki yung ini-spend namin sa salaries and benefits. Kasi 'di ba usually salaries and benefits is very individual, right? So kung ano lang yung nakikita mo sa pocket mo, kung ano yung na-receive mo, yun lang yung alam mo, or yun lang yung perspective mo. So in your perspective, it's very small. But then when we sat with the employees and then showed them really the total rewards, what we spend on for them, and all of that, then they see na parang expensive pala ako. All right, so
wow.
So yes,
good for them.
Yes, so because there are a lot of things that the company spend on for the employees that they don't see because it doesn't go into their pocket. Yeah, so as an HR, you also may want to have this level of transparency wherein each employee sees whatever you spend on them. So customer stories are also very important, especially for us. We are a retail company. So we share customer stories and also our delivery guys and technical guys stories, because in some countries, in the Philippines, I know it is outsourced, but in some countries, the technical repair guys that goes to your home, if meron kang issue to your Electrolux product, are directly hired by Electrolux. Yeah, so we posted customer stories, and also we posted stories by those technical guys who are visiting our customers even during the COVID period. And these are very poignant to our employees. Sharing customer stories actually make them feel that what they are continue doing during the time of pandemic, even if they're having troubles themselves, actually have impact to other people. Yeah, so it's very important, and it's very relevant for them. So let's say, for example, because I handle design team, yeah, and there was one question one time when we were doing roundtable: why do we keep designing products, or why do we keep doing the design of the details of let's say yung knob nung washing machine ninyo, right? When we're in pandemic, and most probably we will not be producing and people will not be buying washing machines soon. So then, but then they received, or we received this story from a customer that they truly appreciate how the washers and the dryers are designed in this way, because nung time na nasa pandemic, na nasa bahay sila, the way it is designed is hindi siya mapipindot ng maliliit na bata. Okay, so
childproof.
Yeah, it's so now that they're in the home, these things how they are made are actually impacting lives of people. And so what we told them is that you may not find it very relevant, and these are very small things for our customers, but then as simple as not being easily accessible to children actually helps parents. Because meron doon habang naglalagay ka ng things doon sa washing machine, 'di ba? Yung anak mo, like my 2-year-old, she likes pressing those buttons as well in the washing machine. And sometimes, 'di ba, pag na-run mo na 'yon, kalimutan mo kung ilang minutes na 'yon, tapos hindi mo naman makokontrol kung ilang minutes, so kailangan i-restart mo ulit siya. So those things are very helpful for your employees to know. And then we have this funny story that merong grandma sa, I think sa Indonesia, it was in Indonesia wherein it was submitted. The grandma called our technical guy to come to her house because may problema yung gas burner. Yeah, so this grandma posted the picture of our technical assistant because aside from fixing the hub, he also fixed her kitchen sink, yeah, during the time that he was there. And we have a heartwarming story, Howell, but it's not in Asia, Asia Pacific and MIA. This happened actually in Italy, wherein we have one technical or technician in Italy na tinawagan siya para mag-repair dun sa bahay, tapos nagkaroon ng cardiac arrest yung customer. And luckily, this guy, our technician, is a trained first aid facilitator or giver. Yeah. So he saved a life as well. Wow. So these stories that you share, I mean, it may not be relevant if you take a look at it, but it makes employees feel as like they're in a good company, or they're part in a company wherein employees have value, and wherein the products that we make actually add value to the lives of others. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes. So customer stories are very important. If you're in sales or in retail, you have to get the stories of your customers and share that to your employees. Yeah. To be honest with you, Howell, when I was starting at Electrolux, I came from an IT company. I was from IBM for 10 years. And for me, I didn't think really in a very, so of course I like the products, I like the company, and I like the model of the company. That's why I joined. But I didn't really think that those customer stories would tell or would speak to me. Yeah. Kasi, nagre-repair sila ng ng machines, and right. So yeah, but then when I started hearing the stories, it makes me really be very proud being part of the company. And then also it makes me feel that I should do more for our employees, to be conscious of them whenever I do things and my team does things, because these are employees who actually impact lives of others. Yeah, so those things. All right, so let's go to the next one. Alignment. Alignment is very important, yeah, because employees want to feel worthwhile. They want to feel connected and appropriately involved in the operations of the company. Alignment is not just connection. It's not just, speaking to each other. Alignment is really, do you know the strategy of your company? Are you aligned? Are the goals, or are the things, or are the job that you are working on aligned with the overall purpose or strategy of the organization? I'm very much invested on this alignment. So lagi yan, whenever we talk about objective setting, I always preach to managers down to the level of our drivers. We have drivers as well, and down to the level of those technicians. They have to know, they have to live the purpose of our company. Why are they important as drivers? what are their contributions as drivers into the strategy of our company. If they're not there, what will happen to our company, or what will happen to your team? Yeah, so I always tell the line managers that the job or the assigned tasks to each and every one of your direct reports has to be aligned with our purpose, has to be aligned with our strategy. Yeah, kahit gaano ka small yung task mo, it is there because it is important for our business. Yeah, so, and it's very important for employees because sometimes they just think, ano ba naman ang effect nitong work ko sa overall organization? I'm at the bottom of the chain. But actually, when that person at the bottom of the chain leaves, then you all feel the impact. Mahirap pala yung trabaho kapag wala si Pedro. Right? So yes. Okay, so let's take a look on this. During the COVID period, probably you would say this is counterintuitive, but actually this is also the time wherein we encourage everyone to align on the competencies. Remember yung competencies mo that would help you know kung ano yung mga skills na kailangan sa trabaho mo, and then at the same time, what are the skills that you need to develop so that you can act on that development. Yeah. So during this COVID period, employees also appreciate that we took the time to review the competencies if they are updated. And then also we ask them to assess themselves where they are in this latest competencies or up-to-date competencies of your role. Okay? Don't think about the COVID situation in terms of that, pero yung role mo talaga where you are in terms of that assessment. Yeah? And at the same time, importantly, ano yung level na required and at what level you are in right now, so that we can focus on helping those employees bridge the gap, whether now in the COVID period or maybe later. So to be very honest with you, we are asking them to do this, but the intention is that for everyone, later yung iba sa development, because we cannot address everyone, but we are going to pick out critical roles that we need to address now. Okay, so so it helps the employee to see where they are, and then also it helps you to drive where to focus your development, yung susunod nating topic. Yeah. And then in alignment also, this is also the time that you really have to recognize people. Yeah, recognizing the people, aligning them to the purpose. These recognitions being aligned to the purpose and values of the company is very important. So the small thank yous can be virtual. So we have a virtual wall in our team, at least, wherein we appreciate what each other have done for each and everyone at the end of the week. Yeah, a small thank you really goes a long way. Of course, merong mga anong tawag dito, tumataas ang kilay. You know, this wall is just to pat each other in the back. Why not, right? Yeah. If it makes you feel better, what's wrong with that? Yeah, so just go ahead. Meron ding mga bashers, I'm telling you, Powell. May haters or bashers din yung thank yous na yan. Exactly, right? So haters will hate, sabi nga nila. But then if it makes someone feel better, if it brightens someone's day, why not?
Sure.
I mean, what do we lose with that? Yeah, so yeah, and then a virtual wow wall wherein they post stories of their coworkers who have gone beyond their responsibilities, right? So itong virtual wow wall, again, yun nga, parang ano na naman daw yan. Sabi ko, okay lang, they can bash as they want, right? Wag silang maglagay doon, okay lang din sa amin, right? So if it makes one or two people happy, why not?
Sure.
So, but then also really it's then you also see the things, the small things that they're doing for each other. Yeah. So one of my very proud moment and happy moment as well here in Thailand, being here in Electrolux Thailand, is in Thailand kasi I don't know, I think in the Philippines you have those as well, wherein you have the food cabinets. I'm not sure if I've seen some on social media, or maybe I'm imagining it. But here in Bangkok, the Bangkok government have food cabinets wherein those people who can afford, you can share necessities there, basic necessities. And these food cabinets are in areas wherein there are communities that are probably affected by COVID because they're in the low income community. So in these food cabinets, you put bare necessities, basic necessities like rice, yung mga pangtawid nila sa isang linggo, ganyan, para hindi sila magutom sa isang araw. So that's the government initiative. And then anyone who needs something goes there and then just takes whatever they need. Of course, di mo rin maiwasan, may mga nagte-take advantage, right? but
I can only imagine if that gets implemented here in the Philippines.
Wala ba? Parang may nakita ako sa social media or something.
Siguro, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe it's just that. But here in Bangkok, it's very common. But it's a cabinet. So actually, there's you're not encouraged to put food that would spoil kasi mainit, diba? Pero nilagyan lang nila ng cover, may mga bubong para hindi nga siya under the sun. Kasi nasa sidewalk to, Howell. So really,
like
it was really very visible to anyone. So what our offices did here, kasi we have display fridges in our showroom. So we took out all the fridges in the showroom, and then we told employees to fill those fridges. So we took it out, we put it on the sidewalk, we just put a cover as well so that it's very easy. And we have a post in Thai, of course, I cannot read it, but they told me that what it says is take what you need. Open the fridge and take what you need. So
I like that. Take what you need.
Yes, take what you need. So every morning, actually, when we open the fridge, it's empty. So it's really that, but we know that every morning also our employees replenish.
Yeah.
So like for example, I'm part of the Monday team in Electrolux Thailand to fill. I'm part of the Monday team in HR to fill those. So sa Sunday mag-grocery kami ni husband. And my husband and I pledged and committed that in a week we will buy something for 5 families. So
wow.
So yun yung pledge namin. And then also another one of my staff here has the same pledge. So on Monday, we will be filling a fridge as well. So until COVID is there, those fridges are going to be out. And these are really things that that makes you proud as an employee. Yeah, that you have those things here. And we put that in the wow wall as well.
It's worthy of the wow wall recognition.
Yeah, we put it in our wow wall that, you know, we feel very proud to be doing that, and we feel very proud that actually our team here in Thailand thought about it. It was actually a recommendation from the GM. Yes, sabi niya, I went to this, I went to one of the food cabinets somewhere in Sukhumvit, and why don't we take out the fridges from our showroom? And anyway, no one goes to the showroom right now. So dalhin natin siya, gamitin natin siya. So that's what's happening right now. So we put that in the wow wall as well for the Thailand team.
Mila, I think it's very cultural because there were several attempts of some public schools to do the honesty store.
Okay.
If you're familiar with that.
Yeah. In Bataan, it's very common, right?
Yeah. So there are a lot of and there are several attempts to do that. A lot of them failed. I think the Batanes, the first and the only sustainable honesty store to this day remains to be open. But the rest of the Philippines, imagine it's. Wow, I just pray that people in the Philippines will behave the same way as the people in Thailand do.
Actually, I think some also hoard. So sabi nung staff ko, ano daw gagawin namin kasi may nakita sila may dalang box, kinukuha lahat ng fridge. So sabi ko, no, we don't stop them. I mean, like, titigan nyo lang. Baka medyo mahiya ng konti pag tinititigan
sensitivity,
nyo.
mindfulness, yes.
So ganon. Pero we don't stop them because we also don't want people to feel that, you know, they're being restricted by employees of Electrolux on kung anong kukunin nila. Baka hindi na nila puntahan yung fridges natin. Yes. So anyway, let's move on. So the last piece is development. Development need not stop during pandemic or during crisis situation. Actually, it should continue. It's just that this time also you have to reinvent your learning and development programs. Yeah, because all of them has to be virtual, and then it's not just creating virtual programs or delivering virtual programs. You also have to think and make sure that your development programs still create journeys. Yeah. So journeys and good experiences for your employees. Employees want to know that they have access to opportunities, especially they are at home, right? So some of them will have this thinking that I am at home, maybe since I am at home, I don't have access to opportunities or I am losing on something. And then they want to develop and that their leaders and managers are invested in their professional development. That's why in our company we are encouraging our managers to continue their coaching sessions, their one-on-one sessions, and the development planning and actions that they're going through right now. Yeah. So it's very important. Development is very important, and actually employees see development as part of engagement.
Yeah.
That's why it is here, because development is a very good employee engagement tool, and it is part of it's a very important piece in the employee experience arena. Yeah. So what did we do right now? Medyo nag-crunch din kami sa money kasi nagsara yung mga stores, right? Actually, what happened to us, I'll just share with you our journey, is that we have been negatively impacted immediately because of China. Our manufacturing are located in China. Also, we have manufacturing, of course, in Europe. But for APAC and Mila, a lot of our products are coming from our manufacturing teams, both in China and in Thailand, because yun yung dalawang manufacturing hub namin. The first country that closed is China. And the raw products from Thailand comes from China as well. So then yung impact is immediate for everyone, because even if Thailand, Philippines, and the other countries in Asia are not yet closed, yung products na nanggagaling sa China, wala nang dinideliver. Right? So wala na ring maibenta. So people are very antsy already at the very early stage of COVID. Even if, let's say, sa Philippines wala pang ECQ, and then probably at that time the very disturbing news in the Philippines pa lang is the first death on COVID.
Yeah.
Is in the Philippines. Yeah, I remember that. They were like, did you know, Mila, that the first death of COVID in the Philippines? It's like, yeah, of course. I mean, like, everyone knows that. The world knows that, yeah, because it's the first death. So, yun yung nangyari sa amin. So we have to crunch our finances immediately, because even if we can sell, there is nothing to sell because the production is limited. Okay, so wala kaming e-learning platform as of the time of COVID. Yeah, we only have a trial platform that we are still working and testing with LinkedIn. So nasa testing phase pa kami. So during COVID, and sorry you can hear my daughter. Yeah.
It's okay. It's perfectly okay. We're all at home.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, nagising na kasi siya.
Yeah.
And she wants to go here. She wants to say hi to you guys, but the nanny pulled her out. So anyway, so we don't have an e-learning platform at that time. We are just testing LinkedIn. So we only have very limited number of licenses. We cannot give to everyone. What happened is that all our learning programs has to stop because we've decided early on no travel. So since we are APAC and Mila, a lot of our programs are happening in certain locations, and then people has to go there. Yeah. So even if nung nandun ka sa country lang, the country programs was stopped as well, because of course the providers and also we don't want to congregate people in one room. So what happened in our in this one is two things. So the pilot program, it's supposed to be HR piloting this e-learning platform with LinkedIn. We opened it to our high potentials. Okay, so we rediverted it. We have this number of licenses. Let's take a look at how many high potentials we have. Let's address them immediately. Okay, so wala nang pilot. Live na kaagad tayo.
Yeah, that's how we do it
live
now.
na kaagad, right? Live, and then we went live for our high potentials, and then at the same time, my team, talent management team, we put a lot of the programs into e-learning bites, 5-minute program, 10-minute program, 15-minute programs, and 20-minute, and then we just put them all on the online, and then we created communications, advertisements for our employees. So what we did is we curated them. So let's say, for example, the first week, of course, was on remote working. Yeah, so we created programs. We I think we have like we created 5 videos on remote working, tips on how to do remote work, how to set up your workstation, and then how to deal with like children being at home, and then also on that. And then another video on how to have presence while you are still presenting here at your home. We recognize as well that you may not have the venue or like the space, because some people may have very tight space in their home. So how do you then address that? So that's the first curated program that we have. Then I think on the 4th week, we released videos about well-being of our employees. I think we have well-being, parang marami kaming nailabas because we have a partner who gave us free e-learning programs, and then we launched it. And then the good thing, the thing that we did as well, how well, is that we created or we steered that, meaning we asked employees their experiences. Did it help them? There were HRBPs going around in their countries asking, how was your experience? Was it helpful for you? And then some of them posted on social media as well. So our e-learning is also social learning. And then after the first wave of COVID hit, we then focused on some core trainings, meaning like one part of the core training, of course, is our values. Remember, I told you guys that we focused on reigniting our purpose and values. So we created e-learnings for that. And then our IT was also working for us to create webinars, because Zoom is blocked in our company because of the Zoom bombs. So yeah, so then they created a platform, or they opened a platform for us to create webinars, so then we can have live webinars. So we did the live webinars for our purpose and values. And then the second wave of core training that we did is on feedback and coaching. Yeah, so there are like e-bites, e-learning bites on that, and then there are learning journeys wherein they do we do live webinars. Then they have take-home readings, and they have buddies also, wherein they can learn or they can practice what they have learned during that time. And then there's another we haven't done yet, but they will be going back for another live learning session wherein we will synthesize what we have learned in the first live learning, and then at the same time there were more that they will learn in that live learning. The live learning sessions are half day, and there are co-facilitators there because we put them on breakout sessions on those programs. Yeah. And then also it's the time for you to have stay interviews. So you don't have stay interviews for everyone, yeah? Because let's be honest. And if there are people here who are not HR, we don't want everyone to stay. That's a fact. There are probably like a certain percentage of people that we are proactively working with them to develop them, but if it's not going to work, they will go. And then there are also those people that we are praying that, sana maisip niya pong umalis.
Why do you have to pray for that? Why not talk to them?
We've talked to them, in Philippines, how well you can. But in other countries, there are certain legislations that even a PIP doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there are certain countries that minsan pera-pera lang ang usapan. Pero ang kailangan kasing mag-initiate ng usapan si employee. So kung hindi siya nag-initiate, hindi mo siya pwedeng puntahan at tanungin magkano ba ang katapat mo para umalis ka, right? Yeah. So you cannot do that. But then so prayers yung ginagawa namin.
So your company is not meritorious. I mean, you reward and retain people who perform. So
we do. We do that as well. But then of course there are still
it's
those
cultural.
that,
It could be cultural. Yeah.
Yes. And it's not in the Philippines. We're not experiencing it in the Philippines. There are really countries wherein it's very difficult for us to manage a non-performer. Yes. Yeah.
Especially if they've been there for so long. I mean, seniority.
Yes,
you cannot just fire them.
Exactly, that's true. And then also in some countries they have protected employees. There are those under protection, like for example those who are in cultural minorities, that you cannot really terminate them. In fact, the government is paying the company to retain them. Yes, yeah. So that, but of course you have to be very conscious of that because it affects other employees. So kahit na meron kayong nakukuha from the government, or let's say the government gives you some incentives, but then the impact to other employees kung hindi performer to is of course negative, right? The person sitting next to that person can be demotivated because this person is not performing. Bakit nandito pa siya sa tabi ko? Samantalang ako hirap na hirap kaka-perform dito. Ako na nga gumagawa ng trabaho niya. Why do I have to do it, right?
It can create a culture of mediocrity because people will not be driven anymore.
Exactly. And then also people who are actually performing might just leave.
They might just leave. So your stay interviews would be critical.
It is very
high
critical.
potential.
Exactly. Yeah. So stay interviews are very important, and when we are out of COVID, this is something that you guys should really be thinking of doing for your high posts, for your critical role employees, and for those employees who are strong performers or solid performers, because you don't want them to leave, so that you can preempt already if they're even just thinking about it, because you would know the moment that you sit with them employee, you would have that sense already that this person is scanning the market. Yeah. So right, so let's do a quick recap. I know we have a Q&A, and
Yes,
I'm
we
very
do.
much excited for that. I'd really like to talk. So that's why, Howell, I opened the venue for us to exchange and to talk and for me to answer some questions, because I'm more into conversation.
We'll
yeah,
do
I think
that.
for
We'll
those
do that.
people, yeah, I think for those people who attended my session before, because I did twice already with Ariva, they know that I go around and I talk to them. Yeah, I go I go around them. Yeah. So let's just do a quick recap. So we did. We talk about the current situation. There's the Towers Watson report that was released in May, wherein we had the views of employees, and I shared to you as well the insights that were gathered in a webinar that I attended together with Josh Bersin, hosted by DDI. And then we refreshed on what is important to the employee, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like it was created in 1943, but it is relevant until today. Those are the important things that are ingrained in people. And then we talked about the lead as drivers of engagement. And I shared with you some focused initiatives that are my company is doing, and also other companies are doing right now. So those are leadership, enablement, alignment, and development. All right. So Howell, what's next for us?
We'll have a 2-minute break, but before that, I'd like to encourage everyone to put your hands together for Mila Pascual-Nodusso. Brilliant presentation, ma'am. In fact, what you just did for the last 1 hour and 20 minutes was laid down. You laid down a roadmap on how to deal with and what to do as HR practitioners in times of COVID. You just gave us the best practices that you are currently doing right now in Electrolux, and we thank you for that. All our participants will have to do right now is look at it, localize it, make some tweaks, and customize it for their own organization. Imagine, this is brilliant.
We are not we did not copyright them, so you can actually do them. Of course, yung values na nandyan, tsaka yung purpose, you cannot take them because those are our purpose.
Yeah, and these are practical steps. These are practical steps. So again, big hand for Mila. Mila, don't go away.
Thank you. Yes.
So for the next 2 minutes, I'd like you to read all the thank yous and the gratitude posts at the chat box. And I'd like to encourage everyone, especially in the Zoom room, to type in your question for the next 2 minutes at the Q&A box, not at the chat box. If it's a question, type it in at the Q&A box. And for our FB Live, we'll do our best to read your questions. Type them in the comment section. Don't go away. We'll be right back. We promise. This is exciting. Grabe.
Yes, thank you.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
So how I was reading the chats, and one of the attendees is a classmate of mine,
Wow.
Clarissa. Yay! I don't know if she's gonna mute herself. Yeah. So yes. Yes. So there are a lot of questions in the chat, and also a lot of questions in the Q&A.
So we'll
yep.
address them one by one.
All right. So let's see if we can address them one by one.
Sure. In the meantime, Mila, while you're reading the Q&A box and the comments at the chat box, I'd like to just remind our participants of how they can be a part of a bigger picture, a bigger cause, and a nobler cause aside from this free learning event. This is what we call the Support Our Frontliners call for everyone to be part of helping our kababayans during COVID-19. So this is the Learn and Share program. Well, this is the brainchild of Sir J.M. Matienzo, our dear CEO, and collaborating with the whole team of Ariva Academy, of course, with the president, Miss Irish Malonda. And they thought, okay, everybody's in lockdown, everybody's at home. What better way to make use of the free time than to give them free learning events? And this was made possible, have been made possible since April, going on now, and this will extend till June or July, depending on the ECQ and ECQ, or whatever queues there will be. We thank you, Mila. Experts, global coaches like you are generous enough to say yes to this partnership. And we were able to give back to our clients and give to those who just signed up for the first time for the free learning event. And so we're giving an opportunity, all participants here, Zoom Room, Facebook Live, YouTube, and LinkedIn, to take this opportunity. Again, take this opportunity to pay it forward. As you gain access to all live webinars for free, this is a series for a cause, you may donate an amount to help our family, friends in distress. Together, let's show our support to our fellow Filipinos who are in survival mode during this difficult time of the global health crisis. It's the Bayanihan 2020 coming together of heroes 2020. If you have $1 or $2, if you have 100 baht or more, for as long as it's from the heart, act now. Let's click and donate. http://www.ariva.com.ph/donation. And we thank you in advance for your generosity. And Mila, have you read most of the questions already?
Yes.
I will just be greeting our birthday celebrant today, Miss Bella Marie Fabian. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
And we also have local participants. Miss Irish already mentioned our international participants, but we're represented here in the Philippines by the people from Bataan, Batangas, Bulacan, Cagayan de Oro City, Cavite, Cebu, Davao, Davao del Norte, Davao City, General Santos City, Laguna, Legazpi City, Albay, Nueva Ecija, Pangasinan, Quezon Province, Rizal Province, Tuguegarao City, and NCR. You have lots of fans, Manila. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining today.
So for our Q&A portion, we still have a few more minutes. I'd like you to, for our Zoom room participants, to type in your question at the Q&A box. If you'd like to ask Mila personally, at least virtually, raise hand button is available for you to press so that we can see your you see your face and hear your voice. And for Facebook Live viewers, type in your question at the comment box. Our technical team will forward them to us. I'm afraid we don't have enough time to entertain everything and every question will throw at us, but we'll do our best. Starting off with the favorite question by Mila. You take a pick, Mila. What's the question you'd like to address right now at the Q&A box?
Actually, there's no really favorite question, but I always like ticking off the easy ones.
Okay, so
right.
Brian Tracy mentioned about eating the frog in the morning.
Yes, exactly.
It's difficult.
Yes.
So this one, let's take the easy part.
The easy ones, so that you can sit down and focus on the other ones later.
Sure.
So there's a question here. what platform did you use for your virtual WOW? We use Teams platform, the Office 360. Yeah. You don't have to buy anything. If you have any site sharing within your company, you can use that. That's what we used. What did we use in the employee survey? Did we do it in-house or you have a third party? We did it in-house. The HR team did manually all this. We use 360 form, Office 360, Microsoft Forms for this. This is free. You can do it. I mean, if you have the license in the company, it's part of it.
Yes.
And then we had to do it because we figured also we cannot spend on survey right now. People will be upset on that because you're cutting back on spending on a lot of things, and then suddenly magsa-survey ka tapos may bayad ang survey mo, right? So we were very mindful of that as well. It's free and it's anonymous as well.
Thank you, Ma'am Mila. From Aster Almo Q&A box, what are good examples for a leader initiatives?
Yeah,
aside from what you've already mentioned.
So the one that I mentioned right now are the two that we are looking at because those are easy because they are virtual. And right now, we really feel, and based on our survey, what our employee need and ask for is right timing of communication, transparency, and relevance of our communications. Yeah, and this has to come from our leaders because employees would like to feel that it's coming from the decision makers itself.
So, Ma'am Mila, all of your Electrolux global employees have the access to the e-learning portals that you have as a company, or just the Asia Pacific region?
Asia Pacific and region only. Asia Pacific and MIA.
And so you are using. What about the language barrier?
Platforms.
The language barrier.
Yeah, that's an issue. That's why our survey we translated it into 6 different languages.
Yes.
So that we have a good result, and our local HR teams are the translators for that.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah, because we also cannot buy or cannot pay translators at this moment. So in terms of learning, that's something that it is in our bucket to address because it's really very difficult to have everything translated right now. So what we are doing is that for some programs, we are empaneling local HR teams and also some local leaders who can volunteer as trainers for them to deliver it in the local language. Yeah,
wonderful.
Because the people who are creating the programs right now can only really speak English or our own dialect. But if I create it in Filipino, no one else would be using it, right?
True.
So yeah, language is definitely a barrier and an issue for us as well because we are in APAC and MIA, and there's really like it's a very multicultural and multilingual region. Yeah.
Thank you, Ma'am Mila. Now, a pre-sent question from Ann Padilla. So she's a recent question, Ann Padilla. For you, what is more important or essential, an employee's engagement or an employee's appreciation of his work? How do these two differ from one another? Do appreciation of one's work leads to being engaged to it? Or between the two, which should come first? So, play of words, engagement or appreciation?
I think engagement is a little bit deeper because when you appreciate the work, maybe you appreciate that it's a good work today, and then tomorrow maybe you have a bad day and then it's not a very good work for you.
Okay.
Right? But when you are engaged, you're very passionate about it. Even if it's a bad day, you care about it. You care about the results that you deliver, and you are personally invested on it. It can really be at the surface you can really mistake the two for for it to be the same. But for me personally, engagement is much deeper, because in engagement, when I am engaged, I am fully invested in it.
True.
I am very passionate about it, and I take it personally.
True.
Yeah.
I agree as well.
Yes, yeah. When I say I take it personally, it's not that I am not that kind of personally. It's just that in the excellence of doing my job, I take it as an offense if I don't give my best.
Oh,
yes.
If only everybody would feel that way and behave that way. That they owe it to themselves and their people to always do their best. Imagine the world. The kind of world we will be living in, diba?
Yeah. So that's if I think engagement is much more like that. There are a lot of people who feel that way, who feel the same way as me. But of course, there are also a lot of people who doesn't feel that way because they have other priorities.
Yes.
So I'd like to think it in that way, that in our level of priorities, other people just have a higher level of priority in their list. Yeah, it's not that the job is not very important for them. It's that maybe between the job and between feeding their son at home, of course the son at home is more important.
I agree. And if I may also say, Mila, appreciation is easy because it's one way. You can just appreciate them. In fact, you said that there are bashers at the wow wall and the thank yous. So appreciation is easy because it comes from you, from HR. But engagement, it takes them coming out of their shells, these employees, and connecting with you and appreciating your efforts and sincerely wanting to invest as much as you have been investing in making things work. So thank you, Mila, for that. In fact, looking at my notes, I wasn't exaggerating when I mentioned that you have laid down a roadmap on how to succeed in this time of COVID-19 crisis. Grabe, ang galing. Jojo Terencio, Miss Mila, regarding employee survey, did you do this in-house or you have to have a third-party service provider, including
and it's
crafting
the one
of
that
the
I
survey
addressed
question? You addressed
earlier.
that a while back. Yes.
It was in-house, and I would encourage you to in-house it as well. Kung nagtitipid kayo sa ibang bagay, especially if ang pagtitipid ninyo may impact sa employee, on this one, do not spend a dime.
If these platforms are available for free, why not take advantage?
Yeah, you can also use SurveyMonkey if you don't have the forms, right?
We do that during
Survey
a public
Monkey.
seminars, the SurveyMonkey. And it's real-time results being given you.
Yes.
Now, Jojo Terencio, again, in the time of streamlined employee engagement, what assistance or programs is your company extending to address mental health or issues of employees? Have you already encountered mental health-related issues at this
I'll
time?
be very honest on this one, Howell, that it is a work in progress for us right now. Right now, it's the employees and the managers talking to people. We open that line for them because unfortunately, not all countries in our region have the employee assistance program.
Not only that, Mila, because in the Philippines, wala nang stigma ang mental health. I'm not sure in other parts of the Asia Pacific.
It is. It's very much. There's very much awareness in the other parts of Asia Pacific, and I think since we are regional and a global company, our people in the Philippines are very much aware on this as well. And there's really no on the other hand, on that I'll correct, there is no more stigma, definitely
no more stigma. That's a good thing.
I didn't understand your question or your statement very well,
but it's
okay. In all countries that I knew so far, there's no more stigma on mental health, so actually people are reaching out.
Beautiful.
More, it's just that we don't have EAP in all of our countries. So this is something that is a work in progress for us. But in the meantime, for those areas or countries that doesn't have EAP, this is that's why I said also HR is very important to take care of them, because a lot of the employees are going to HR even for counseling, personal counseling. So we really have to take a look and take care of our HR in this period.
You really are the mother hen in this trying times of a pandemic. Diba? Well, Ana Marie Gilatco has a question. Our employees have limited access to laptops, PCs due to the nature of their position. They're also in the field and we don't usually see them. These are skilled workers. These employees are very much used to physically come to the office for documents, summer outings, sports fest, etc. It is also challenging to communicate with them due to strict IT policies using personal email addresses. Curious to know how to overcome all these tough policies, the culture and traditions.
It's also a barrier that we are trying to overcome in this period. We also have very traditional people. Just 2 weeks ago, I got upset in a call because there was a leader that casually mentioned, if they're not in the office, they're not performing. I said, I'm sorry. Right? And that is such a red flag for us in HR, not just for me, even for my leader as well, for my manager. And we were like, we were personally upset about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't mean that you're not in the office, you're not performing. So to go back to that question there, the question is for those people who are very much traditional. This one is the other way around. It's the employee itself who is very much used to it. That's her question. I think for this we really have to be patient a little bit more and really educate them, because that's what we can do right now. Aside from, of course, the engagement activities that we are trying to provide on the side, it takes also like it depends. If the manager thinks the same way, then that's a big problem. Yeah, because like right now we rely a lot on the managers in terms of mindset shift. But if the manager agrees with the employee and reinforces that kind of thinking and behavior, then imagine how tiring it is that you are shifting the mindset of both manager and 15 employees under that manager. Yeah. So address the managers first in these situations wherein we are trying to inculcate with them the mindset of being open to working remotely even after COVID. And then at the same time, our IT is looking at our infrastructure, how we can really do that. Because the same with you, we have also those employees that doesn't have access to we even have employees that doesn't have access to internet at home. Yeah. So we have to find ways on how do we address that, because the country is on lockdown and then the employees saying I don't have internet. So we have to make a decision there that okay, you don't have an internet at this point, even like the mobile internet the employee said doesn't work. Then the employee has to take has to be off because there's just no way to work for the employee right now. Yeah, so it takes a lot of effort. I might not be able to really fully answer that question because that's also something that we are working on right now. But in terms of the team building activities and being together, it's a lot of communications. You really just have to sit down with them that it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yes.
And your communication is around safety and security, because we are not just talking here about them drowning. Yeah, we are talking about here just going to the office. Probably someone sneezes on you, and then in 14 or 15 days you die.
True.
So.
Thank you, Ma'am Mila. In fact, if I'm not sure if you know Sir Ronald Turla. Also, Sir Ronald, sabi niya, what was true before March 15 is no more true today. Throw it out of the window.
Exactly.
Yeah. So on that note, anonymous attendee is asking you, so what employee engagement programs do you recommend to replace the normal building and company outing? Aside from the inuman and the online drinking.
Yeah. So we gave cards. We gave engagement cards or fun cards to our managers so that they have I think we gave them 12 engagement or fun cards that they can put out if they run out of ideas, right? Because also HR is very busy right now. So we create the cards, and then we told them these are the things that you can do. So one of the things that they can do in assumption that they're still working from home is the throwback. So we are not even saying, yeah, Throwback Thursdays, it's still applicable. Yeah, it's applicable. We still call it Throwback Thursday, wherein they collect pictures of the team, and then because we use WeChat a lot, and then one of the team members, because we're doing it as well, one of the team members will then post the pictures. So we even have like guidelines, right? You know, HR, we love guidelines. So we said, wag lang yung baby picture, and then the picture also, the oldest picture that you will be sending is 10 years old.
Wow, that's fun.
So and then someone posts it every Thursday, and then people also will have to send like trivia to one person about themselves, like one or two something that no one knows. And then we will ask people to guess. Yeah, so these are team activities. And then also so we have the coffee session, and then there's also the virtual walk of your apartment or your house if you are comfortable.
Touring them, virtual tour.
Virtual tour of their workstation or their work area if they're comfortable, of course. But if the employee is not comfortable, then we don't. And then of course we have the week off, the one wherein you have the inuman. Yeah. Yes, but we cannot call it thank God it's Friday, because the weekend in Middle East Africa starts on Thursday. Friday and Saturday is their weekend, so it's not going to be so we gave them e-cards. HR has to think of these 12 things, and then we put it into cards and then emailed it to managers to think on and use. Yeah.
Practical, workable, doable, actionable, beautiful insights you have given us in the past 1 hour and 45 minutes. Thank you so much, Ma'am Mila,
Thank you so much to all of you. Thank you for this opportunity as well to Ariva team. Yeah, to JM, to Michelle, to Anne, to Jeff, and definitely to you, Howell. And I really hope to see you guys soon. But of course, like I was advocating, if it's not safe, we're not going to see each other, but we're going to see each other virtually.
I'm looking forward to physically seeing you face to face and trying your dishes. If you know how to make that mango sticky rice, I would love to sample that.
But I love more the mango sticky rice of the Philippines.
We have here, but nothing beats the authentic.
Oh, really? Hindi ba siya Filipino? Nakikipagtalo pa naman ako na Pinoy.
Well, may Pinoy tayo, yung sinaing, lalagyan mo ng inuulam yung mangga. That's Pinoy.
Hindi, kasi sa Philippines, meron din yung may gata na sticky rice.
Na may
tapos,
mangga. Yeah.
Lalagyan ng gatas, di ba? I'm not sure if nakikipagtalo pa
That's
naman
regional.
ako natin yung recipe na yun.
But one thing is unique about Thailand, Pad Thai. If you know how to do Pad Thai, we from Ariva will raid your kitchen.
Definitely. That's one thing that I really tried to learn the first time I moved here. And yes, when we see each other, I can do that for you guys. Yeah.
So, Mila, what do you want us to think about as we go to sleep tonight? One thought.
So, one thought: lead.
Just
lead. Leadership. Enablement, alignment, development.
Again, maraming salamat. Kapon Kap.
Salamat. Kapon ka. Sawadee ka.
Sawadee ka. Ma'am Mila Pascual-Nodusso.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bitin. Ang sabi ng mga participants natin, bitin. I feel the same way. It's so bitin. maybe there's a sequel. We will find out eventually.
Yeah,
But we
or you
thank
can connect with me on LinkedIn.
Yes, thank you,
And we
Mila.
can engage there. Thank you so much.
See you again soon.
See you
and
again soon.
your
Bye.
little girl, right?
Yes.
She's missing you already right now.
Yeah, she's in front of me. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Say hi
you.
to your little girl for us.
Yes,
Thank you
I
so
will.
much.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great weekend. And now let's usher in Miss Irish Malonda Samson. Hello, Miss Irish. I feel so energized, revitalized.
Hi, sir.
Revived.
I'm back.
You know what? Creatively
That was a great
rewarded.
discussion.
Galing, no? Ayokong matapos. Ayokong matapos.
Of course, we would like to thank Ms. Mila Pascual-Nodusso for sharing with us, for sharing with our to our participants the initiatives, the interventions, the best practices on how to still engage the employees despite of this pandemic, diba, Sir Howard?
Grabe, galing. Ba't di ko ba siya na-meet in person? Kailan ba siya nag-seminar sa atin? Sa Astoria yata, no? Marco Polo.
2019.
Oo. And alam mo naman, busy tayo sa in-house na.
Yes, sir. So, before you share takeaways, Sir Howell, let's try to change this this time. So let's ask our participants, what are their takeaways?
Better. That's better.
Diba?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maganda yan.
Type in your takeaways.
Pili ka ng paborito mo, Miss
Sure,
Irish.
sir. Sige po. And of course, Sir Howell, you can even share your takeaways as well.
So habang nagsusulat sila, yung takeaway ko, grabe, no? So from the first minute to the last minute, I was so engaged. I felt like she did a walkthrough with me. She walked me through the culture of Electrolux. And saw the beauty of the culture of, reminded me of the beauty of the culture of Bangkok as well. My takeaway, sana magawa natin yung refrigerator na nandyan lang sa tabi ng kalye.
Oo, yung food cabinet, diba?
Gusto ko yung food cabinet na pag binuksan, walang mag-hoard, 5 families will benefit from it. That's my greatest takeaway.
Yeah.
Aside from everything that she's given us.
For me, sir, yung food cabinet, that would be great. The honesty store as well. Diba nga sabi nila, naku, baka hindi maging successful. But the point
sa barangay daw kasi nire-repack pa yung mga alam mo yun, ayuda, nire-repack pa, hinahati pa.
Yeah, but the point is, at one time, diba? For example, nagtayo ka ng honesty store or food cabinet, at one time you will was able to help one needing person. Yun yung mas malaking doon mas malaking thing doon, diba?
I agree. So let's all build a cabinet in front of our houses, dear participants, and make it.
Yes. And Lot Chuan is sharing his takeaway. So, of course, the lead concept, Sir Howell.
No, kasi workable siya. Sobrang easy lang nun. Yung you lead, you enable, you align, and you develop. That's the roadmap already.
Okay, from Rose Ariane Rojas, it is always important to make our employees feel valued by letting them know their value. From Leonida Florendo, my takeaway is, I think this is the best definition I've ever heard on engagement. Engagement is investing on your work, doing your work passionately, and taking it personally, taking offense when I do my job
diba? Parang gusto ko yun. Yung parang I owe it to myself to always perform my best at all times. Ang galing yan.
Okay, last takeaway, Sir Howell. Please read the takeaway
Yvette
from Ms. Yvette.
Distrajo, my takeaways in the leading part, how important it is to have a leader who inspires you to be a better person in the times of crisis. Beautiful.
Thank you so much. And of course, thank you, Sir Howell, for moderating our session this afternoon.
Always a pleasure, Miss Irish.
I'll be seeing you on Tuesday, sir, for another e-learning
session. Wow! So 3-day weekend pala ako.
Yes. Long weekend. Have a great weekend, Sir Howell.
Swimming muna ako. Have a great weekend din, Miss Irish. And I will miss you and the rest of the Ariva family, Sir Jeff, Sir JM, Miss Anne, Miss Kate, Miss VP Michelle, and all the beautiful employees of Ariva.
Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye, sir.
Bye-bye, Miss Iris.
Please don't go away because I still have some few announcements. So we would like to thank the following win-win partners. We would like to thank our official media partner, Art Plus Magazine, Focus Media, Globaltronics, CD Advertising Ventures, Outcome, Elevate Media. For win-win partners, thank you to Brother, Faber-Castell, Glutacy, Moringa O2, KFC, Mr. Donut, Tokyo, Lotus Biscuit, Boss Job, Sir Technology Inc., Finma Properties, Salary Jet, Ilawi Korea, Kitosan and Carpo Consulting, Enchanted Kingdom, Disperse, Cosmotech Philippines Inc., Mindchom's virtual preschool program. To register, please call them at 0906-486-0710 or email them at disacanabe@mindchomps.org. If you want to place your ads here, advertise your company, your services, your logo, have a brand exposure to thousands of viewers through Zoom, LinkedIn, FB, and YouTube, please email us at marketing@ariva.com.ph. And to stay on top of our insights and updates, please stay connected on our social media sites. Join the Ariva Academy Facebook group, like the Ariva Academy Facebook fan page, follow the Ariva Academy LinkedIn page, and of course, visit our website, www.ariva.com.ph. And if you want to watch the replay of our e-learning session this afternoon and the previous e-learning sessions that we had, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Ariva Academy and Ariva Talks. It's a library of e-learning sessions that we had, and please do share it with your colleagues, office mates, and boss. And for our upcoming online learning sessions, we would like to invite you for our live webinar series for a cause, HR Virtual Summit PH 2020. So we have invited international and local subject matter experts to share with us their wisdom in the HR field. And our session today with Ms. Mila Pascual-Nodusso is one of its series. So to register, please visit us at www.ariva.com.ph. We would like to invite you again this coming Tuesday, May 26, 3 to 4:30 p.m. The power of success attitudes, become the person who can change during a crisis. And we will be having none other than Coach Eric Manalo to discuss this session. Another live webinar series for a cause, transformational storytelling for a landscape of crisis and beyond. This will be on Wednesday, May 27 in the afternoon, 3 to 4:30 p.m. And we have invited Dr. Tanvi Gautam to discuss this session. An astronaut's perspective, expand your perspectives to possibilities for growth during COVID-19. This will be next week, Thursday, May 28, 3 to 4:30 p.m. And we have invited Ms. Rafia Sultana to discuss this session. Selling Under Fire, Secrets of Proactive Selling in a Crisis. This will be on Tuesday, June 2, 3 to 4:30 p.m. And we have invited Coach MJ Tolan to discuss this session. Coach with Axe, Tuesday, June 9. This another live webinar series for a cause. And we have invited Coach May Soriano to discuss this session. How to connect with clarity and confidence, building community in times of uncertainty and isolation. This will be on Wednesday, June 10, 3 to 4:30 p.m. And this will be discussed by Coach Kerry Phipps from Australia. Masterclass, an e-learning session masterclass, how to manage the millennials in the workplace. This will be on Tuesday, June 16, 4 to 5:30 p.m. And of course, this will be discussed by Mr. Jonathan Yabot, the Asia's Millennial Group. Another e-learning masterclass from Jonathan Yabot, Work Smart, Not Just Hard, how to boost your productivity at work. This will be on Wednesday, June 17, 4 to 5:30 p.m. Another e-learning masterclass, prospecting, cold calling, telephone sales, and closing the deal. This will be on Thursday, June 18, 3 to 5 p.m. and will be discussed by Mr. Chris Randall. Another e-learning masterclass, online selling from home, how to use FB, IG, and LinkedIn for your business. This is a rerun. This is the second run of our e-learning masterclass, Wednesday, June 24, 4 to 5:30 p.m. And this will be discussed again by Mr. Jonathan Yabut. And if you want to invite our speakers, our Ariva partner speakers, have a customized e-learning session for your team, for your company, please do email me at irish.arivaacademy@gmail.com, or you can call me at 0916-695-4418. And that's it, guys. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. This is Irish Malonda Samson in Ariva. It's all about being better. Have a great weekend. Stay home and be safe. Thank you.